Hi, this is Takara,
And hi, this is Mark, and we're from New Science of Success.
and today we're going to do another video for you in this series that we're doing around all the changes everyone is facing right now. So we've already done 2 videos for you, and this is the third in this series where we're talking about all the stages people typically go through when they're dealing with change, sudden change of any kind that may be expected or unexpected, but there's a whole series of emotions that you go through in order to go from life was like this, and then there's some big change, and now life is like this. And that's where we all are right now with this pandemic that's happening. But it also happens throughout your life. You the loss of a loved one, or the change of a career, or anything like that. Even getting married, which is a positive change, it does, you still go through a set of emotions. And so we've been walking around this this series of what different emotions can come up. So the first one is typically denial, and we talked about that in the previous video. And then after denial, we go into one of 3 different things. We can go into anger, we can go into sadness and anxiety, we can go into bargaining, which we'll explain when that video happens. But today we thought we'd talk about anger. So to begin that piece, Mark, do you have any concepts or ideas to share about anger?
Yeah, I think this is clearly a time where emotions run high. There's a lot of different opinions out there. People are in different states. And, one of the things for me, when I kind of get to that point where I can feel myself when you get angry, it's usually around I'm in one position on kind of what's happening in the world, and someone's in another position. You have people who, anywhere from who think it's a hoax, who aren't taking it so seriously. And one of the past videos, we talked about what was happening at spring break and all the kids who were out on the beach. So there's all these things going on. So what I've really been trying to focus really hard on is understanding when I'm starting to feel that, and then just doing something to let it go. And a big thing for me is kind of going out in nature. Like, I'm spending more time outside than ever. I love to be outside, but now, I love to run, but I don't really like to run in the rain. But I don't care now if it's raining or whatever. I just want to be outside. So kind of being outside and some other things like listening to music help me just step back and say, okay, those things are out of my control. What someone else is doing is out of my control. And so you may be finding the same things. You may be upset. Hey, maybe you're laid off for a while or something's happening. Those things are out of your control. You want to feel anger, and it's understandable. But what can you control? How can you bring back and bring in that level of control so you can feel more at peace and allow the anger to go?
Right, right. So, and for some people, this stage of what's called the mourning process, or we're talking about how to handle change, for some people, it's not actually angry. For some people, it's just frustration. They're frustrated. They're frustrated that they can't get groceries today, right? Because if you're calling in for groceries, you got to wait for days and days before you can go pick them up. We used to do call in for groceries. We would, do it all online, and we do all of our computer work in the morning and order everything, and that same day we could go to the grocery store and pick up the stuff. Well, now we're having to wait, a week. This week it's been a little bit less, but last week, it was a whole week before you could pick up your groceries. So our whole lives have been turned upside down, and the way that we do things and the way that we operate. So, emotions are high, and especially it's really easy to get frustrated and angry, and to feel like, why does it have to be this way? And I don't want to not, I've got a really good friend who he it paddle boards every day in California from the beach. He paddle boards out, and he has a GoPro on his head, and he spends hours out on the water with dolphins swimming and whales swimming, and like that is his zen. That is how he feels really great about everything. And they have barricaded the beaches in California. You cannot go out on the beach anymore. he is going through a whole series of emotions over that, right? Mostly sadness, but I mean, he could get really frustrated and angry too, because that is a normal response. It's one of the stages we all go through. And you may get stuck there and be angry for a while, or you might, just feel really frustrated and angry one day and then it's all gone. So Mark gave some really good ideas about ways to work through it so you're not taking it out on yourself or other people. But, you know, he talked about you could spend time in nature. He also talked about, doing some exercise like he's running. Um, any kind of exercise where you take this energy that pins up and gets stuck in your body and you exert it, right? So you can walk around in your house. I've got little hand weights. I'm doing that, right? And but anything that you can do to move the energy. Another great tool to work through anger is journaling, right? So you can take any kind of notebook, any kind of little, pieces of paper, a little notebook, get yourself a pen, and you just write out how you're feeling. Write out your frustration, write out your anger, because what happens is when you express it that way, it's a form of release. It allows you to let some of that go, right? So instead of acting it out and being snippy with the people that you're, sequestered with, if you're at home with family, it's a great way to release it and not take it out on anybody else, but to just acknowledge all those feelings that you're having, write them out. And what happens when you do it on paper, pen on paper versus typing, right? Because you could also type it, it's not the same. If you do pen on paper, you're working with the whole brain, whole big different chunks of your brain work, and it accesses the creative part of your brain way more than when you type. And so it helps you find ways of, okay, what could I do that's constructive, right? So as we continue to talk about the different stages that you go through in handling change, coming up on Friday, we're going to be doing happy hour, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit more later in this video, but we're going to be talking about some other things that you can do. And it's just important to know that you've got lots of tools and that whatever you're feeling is natural. Do
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
any?
There's just a couple things I'd like to tag on there. One, the part of the journaling, I think it's really important, and I think this is something you can really encourage your kids to do. My youngest daughter has started to do it. It's her coronavirus journal. We're living in a time that is almost unprecedented. But my father grew up during the Depression, and I remember him telling me stories of what it was like to grow up in the Depression. This situation we're in right now, when my daughter has kids and it's 20, 30 years, 40 years down the road, grandkids, this situation is going to be something that they're going to be studying in school. So she's really trying to capture, as Takara said, pen to paper, with that, really to capture the story for herself and for later when she's talking to her kids and grandkids. And one other thing that I want to say when we talk about frustration, you may see the video glitch here every now and again. There's a lot of traffic on the internet. We've had a lot of issues here, and so some frustrations coming up. Everybody is converging to the same place. They can't be together, so we're all converged onto the internet. So just understand, you may be trying to do the same thing. You may be trying to talk to friends through FaceTime, Skype, whatever. All the things that we used to take for granted, we can just pick up and go and nothing glitches. Things may happen. So understand that we're all in it together. And as Takara said, that's really the High Spirits Happy Hour on Fridays, that we want to bring people together. It's just so we can all share our experiences, so you can feel like we are all together. You're not alone. And when you start to hear these things from others, you're going to feel like, oh, okay, together we'll get through it.
Indeed, indeed. So as he mentioned on, High Spirit Happy Hour, 4 p.m. Eastern on our Facebook page, New Science of Success. So you just go to Facebook, type in New Science of Success, and you'll find our webpage. We've started a group, but we really haven't done much with that yet. So we're not going to do this in the group. We're going to do this on the page itself. So just go there, and see what else we've posted. We've got a lot of great articles and other things for you. But the idea about these happy hours is We call it high spirits because the idea is we are going to lift you up with our insights. So yeah, we're going to share real stories, and some of that may be a frustration or that may be a hardship that you're dealing with, but we're also going to offer tools and insights to lift you up. And that's our promise to you about those happy hours. So until next time, it's been wonderful, and see you soon.
See you soon.